What's up, besties and homies? It's your girl Aisha checking in back with another video. If you're new to the channel, welcome to Strong Friends Check-In Podcast. So this episode is about DDG and Halle Bailey. Honestly, I didn't want to cover it, but it is all over the media, and I figured I should share my perspective. As you all know, I try to filter through all the BS and discuss the facts. Facts over feelings all day, every day over here. That is my goal. So I want to start with a clip from DDG's YouTube channel where he is expressing frustration about not being able to see his son as often as he would like.
It's not clickbait. I don't even like. Y'all know I like doing like skits and like just having fun on the internet. I don't really like talking about real life, but I feel like I have to, and it's getting to a point where I feel like I'm honestly getting, when it comes to me just wanting to just be a dad. Y'all know how much like I love Halo. That's literally the best thing that ever happened to me, and this is literally my last resort. I feel like I don't have no type of like hurt, bro. Like I don't have no type of say so.
Okay, the first thing that comes to mind is that DDG is trying to win favor in the court of public opinion. So based upon his own statement, he says that he would like to see his son more often, and he does not feel that he has any authority as it relates to his son. So then as the father, his next step should not be to run to social media. He says that that was his last resort. That was not his last resort, because his next step should have been to file for custody and or visitation through the court of law. So if he thinks that he does not get enough visitation or that Halle is standing in the way, all he had to do was go down to the courthouse and file the necessary paperwork. And then they could have worked it out. Actually, you don't even really have to have a court trial or anything in the actual courtroom. You can request a mediator and go about it that way. And with all the money that DDG has, I'm sure he could have hired a lawyer back then rather than waiting until all of this stuff has blown up. Now, in retaliation, he's trying to file for custody and visitation. It's like you could have just been responsible adult and done that from the beginning. Since he did not handle it that way, it now appears that he's trying to triangulate people against Halle. In other words, he's using what we call in psychology the drama triangle to turn the public against Halle. That's certainly how it appears. That's how it looks, because he keeps running to social media. This is not the first time he's run to social media or the last time he's run to social media to express his frustration about family and domestic relation issues. And so that's problematic. We're talking about a grown man. DDG is not a child. He's an adult, and he is a man. He is doing well in life financially, and so he doesn't struggle for resources. He has enough resources to hire the best attorneys, and so there's no reason for him to continue to run his social media. And in addition to that, he is allowing, and it appears that he may even be encouraging his family and friends to run to social media as well. So that's problematic, and that does not benefit Halo at all.
You know what, man? I'm tired of being framed. I'm tired of being canceled. I'm tired of people saying stuff that they don't know, bro. I'm exposing her, bro. I'm exposing her on this music video right now, bro. I'm exposing everything.
Seeing his son, bro. And I'm going to be honest about that, bro. I'm going to be honest about that. And I'm not emotional about nothing. I'm just emotional because, nigga, I know my brother, bro. That nigga called me and be like, bro, that shit, that That shit hurt, bro.
Okay, this is the same brother who recently posted what he called a joke on social media disparaging Halo's physical appearance. So the uncle of Halo, DDG's brother, Dub is what they call him, disparaged Halo's physical appearance just recently, I believe today or either yesterday, on social media and called it a joke. So I'm not going to play that on my channel because it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. I think that family is dysfunctional. And I think that the brother's behavior is giving delayed. I'll say it that way because I'm a teacher and I teach exceptional children. We used to call them special needs, but now we call them exceptional children. And I believe, based on my expertise, that Dub is delayed. I'll just say it that way. Now, I want to get back to Dub whining and crying all over social media. And also, DDG has a friend. I don't know. He looks like a white guy. I don't know his name. But he appeared on social media with DDG saying some disparaging things about Halle as well. I'm not going to play all of that. I think I've made the point that these individuals, DDG and people who are associated with him, are trying to win in the court of public opinion. And so it does not appear that he's actually concerned about his son or that he's acting in the best interest of his son. People are saying that DDG is clout chasing. He's using his relationship and breakup with Halle and their son for clout. And then there are others who are saying he does not need the clout. So there are people defending him saying he was already established. He was already popular. He has his own money. Now, while I agree that DDG has his own money, he is a star in his own right. By the way, I actually like some of his music, so let me just throw that out there. I do think that people do things that they don't necessarily need to do all the time, especially celebrities and people who are starved for attention. So although he is established as a star and he seems to be doing well financially, that doesn't necessarily mean that he won't starve for more clout, more attention, more fame, more money. We see this with celebrities all the time. It's like never enough. I think the best example we have of that now is Diddy. So people use their children all the time as pawns for many different reasons. So we can't just dismiss that and say, oh, well, he has his own money, so he can't be doing this for clout. Let's look at DDG's followers. He has almost 7 million followers on Instagram and almost 4 million followers on YouTube. So he has a huge following. I'm sure it's a lot more than that on his other social media platforms. And I'm not taking away anything from him as an artist. I'm speaking specifically in regards to how he's handling this situation as a grown man and a father. All right, so let's review the timeline of events as reported by Forbes. This is actually chronicling the events from latest to earliest. So the most recent events in the case. So it's saying DDG requested a restraining order against Bailey in Los Angeles court. He alleged in the court filings that Bailey once took his firearm and left the house while threatening to harm herself. Bailey, 25, and DDG, 27, have been locked in a custody battle over their son since Bailey filed a restraining order against him in May. So she filed the restraining order first. Bailey also alleged that DDG has riled up his fans to send online hate to Bailey by accusing her of keeping their son from him on his live streams. So we just saw that. A judge granted Bailey temporary custody of their son in May. So in May, Halle was granted temporary custody and she was granted the restraining order. The couple split in October 2024 after nearly 3 years of dating. at the time, stating they were best friends and planned to co-parent their son. Bailey is slated to depart for Italy to film a movie for 2 months on June 7th, and a judge is expected to rule on whether she will be allowed to bring her son. The court also set June 24 as the date for a hearing on Bailey and DDG's restraining orders against one another. All right, so let's review the headlines in this case, and then we'll talk about the order of events. According to Vulture, DDG files his own restraining order against Halle Bailey. The Los Angeles Times says that DDG makes serious allegations about Halle Bailey. Restraining order against her is denied for now. And according to Billboard, Halle Bailey says her mental health is under control and slams DDG for embellishing in custody case. Okay, so when we look at the order of events, we see that Halle filed for custody and a restraining order first, and then DDG followed. So it would appear that his filing is retaliatory. We don't know that for sure, but now he is accusing her of being mentally unstable and unfit to care for their child. And he's pulling receipts from at least a year ago or about a year ago. So one might ask, well, DDG, if you were concerned about the health, safety, and well-being of your son, why didn't you file through the courts immediately? Why did you whine on social media for about 6 months when you could not get your way? He could have called the courts and asked for mediation so that they could sit down with a mediator and agree on a custody and visitation order. And he could have done all of that away from the public eye. But instead, he took it to social media. And so that's the issue that I have, because DDG is a man. He is not a child, and he knows better. He knows that as a father, he has rights. And I know that in our community, a lot of people want to say that fathers don't have rights. You absolutely do. It's just that a lot of Black American men don't like to file through the courts. DDG does not have an excuse because he's filthy rich. So I know he's not concerned about child support. That can't be his concern. I think that he wanted to have a certain level of authority and control over Halle. That's what I think. And that's why he didn't just go straight to the courts. Because if you want to just do things fair and square and you want to be direct about things and upright, then you're just going to do it the right way. We have a legal system for a reason. I have considered doing the law reader program, becoming a lawyer, and I have attorneys, lots of attorneys, who are willing to mentor me because they think I would be successful in that. So I'm familiar with these issues because I study law as well. I'm really a nerd for real. So I do a lot of reading, I do a lot of studying, and I know a lot of attorneys. And so I know that all he had to do was go down to the courthouse, and matter of fact, he could have sent his attorney. Again, we're talking about celebrities. These people have enough money to hire the best attorneys. If he didn't feel like going down there or he was busy working, he could have called his attorney and said, hey, I need you to go down and file for mediation. And they could have settled it outside of court and outside of the public eye. But he did not do that. And so because of the way he has handled this and the fact that he has allowed his yes men and his employees to go online and disparage the mother of his child, then I would say that his credibility with me is damaged. That's just not the way you handle it. That's not the way you handle it. And I think it's common knowledge that when there is not a custody agreement, you need to establish one. And when there is a custody agreement, then you need to adhere to that agreement. You need to comply with the law. You can't just pop up at your ex's house when you feel like it, or you can't see your child when you feel like it. You call the courts and you say, I want to mediate, or I want to see if I can amend the custody order so that I can have more time with my child. Nobody's going to deny him that as long as he is behaving and acting like a responsible, sensible adult. So that's all I have to say on that. Know that you're worthy. Know that you're loved. Please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, it's your girl, Aisha, signing off.